has been given just weeks to live after developing a brain tumour, is reminding others of how to spot the symptoms. Each week in the UK, around 10 children or teenagers are diagnosed with a brain tumour. 25% of those children will die. Now, the family of 16-year-old David Langton-Gilks has joined the HeadSmart campaign in the hope it will stop others experiencing their heartbreak. Matthew Hill went to meet them.
It's hard to believe this energetic 16-year-old is facing the end of his life.
I mean, if you get a bee buzzing around you, just don't panic. Otherwise, they're more likely to sting you.
David's been living with brain cancer for 5 years.
I've relapsed several times, which was fun. And now I'm kind of stuffed. But yeah, hey, we can't win all. Before I was diagnosed, I was feeling really weird, sicky. I would get really bad headaches. I thought it was just maybe I was coming down with something or ill, or it was normal. Because it came on so slow that it kind of almost became kind of a normal thing.
It took 6 weeks to diagnose, but his parents, Sacha and Toby, feel it could have been spotted earlier.
It was only a 4-day delay for us, but medulloblastoma, the children are usually, from the first symptoms, they are dead after 6 weeks. We were in our 6th week, we'd have lost him that week, so that 4-day delay could have been fatal. But there are children out there, as I say, with non-cancerous tumours which are much longer onset, who are being completely disabled from surgery, totally unnecessarily.
500 children are diagnosed with brain tumours each year in the UK. It can take up to 3 months to diagnose them. That's 3 times longer than in the United States. That's why Mrs. Langton-Gilks has made it her mission to deliver these pocket-sized symptom cards to as many school children as she can.
Because I didn't have the HeadSmart symptoms card to check, I, of course, didn't link a headache week one with one vomit week 2, with another headache in week 3, a vomit in week 4, and I didn't know to ask about his eyes. I had thought he's being a bit placid, but I didn't know that that is classic behavioural change.
And he became really quite placid and terribly well behaved, which was out of character. But and you could see with his eyes, there was a lot of, the eyes were moving around quite a lot. But it was nothing
dramatic. That's the trouble. I think that's why it's so important. You know, if you've got the same risk of your child getting meningitis as getting a brain tumour, so roughly 1 in 600 children, you know, parents know how to pick up the signs of meningitis. We need them to know how to pick up the signs of a brain tumour.
During his short life, David has built up a deep knowledge of nature. His only hope now is that other youngsters will be spared the surgery he's had to undergo, if only they could be diagnosed in time.
Matthew Hill talking there to David Langton-Gilks and his family. Well, with me here in the studio is Julia Trusler, and she's from the Samantha Dickson Brain Tumour Trust. Julia, thanks for coming in. Clearly, what the family there is emphasising is that early diagnosis is crucial. Now, how much difference does that make?
Early diagnosis can make all the difference. It can make the difference between life and death, in fact. But more often it might be about reducing the levels of disability that a child has, so perhaps reduced blindness or mobility impairment.
It's quite clear, also the family are you're saying that the symptoms can be very confusing. They're not that clear-cut.
Not always, and it's particularly about combinations of symptoms that are signs to be aware of. So nausea and vomiting, perhaps with a headache, with balance and coordination problems. Some of the things that were referred to on the video there.
And the smart cards that you're talking about, and they were talking about, which came in, what, a year ago. I mean, what exactly do they do?
So the HeadSmart cards give information on the signs and symptoms in 3 different age groups: under 5s, 5 to 12s, and teenagers. And the idea is to just raise awareness of what those symptoms are in the different age groups and what to do if a parent is concerned.
I mean, is it the idea to have one of these smart cards in every home? Is that? The whole point.
That's what we'd be aiming for, and we're currently giving these out right around the country, and people can obtain them from us and look on the website, HeadSmart website.
That's the HeadSmart website that you can just go to there. I was going to say, how do you get hold of one of these? And they will be, as you say, with every family, and then they'll know what to do when they recognise the symptoms.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of the issue is that people aren't aware that brain tumours happen in children, so we're trying to raise awareness of that, and also what the symptoms are to be looking out for.
Julia, thank you so much for coming in and explaining all to us. Thanks a lot.